Welcome to the Spheres of Spirit with Nancy Myers, aka the Lady of the Light. Nancy will discuss the everyday magic and wisdom of spirit which surrounds each of us, waiting to be discovered. She will share some of her remarkable orb photos, proving that our angels, guides, loved ones in spirit, and even pets surround us and guide us in our physical world. During this episode, Nancy will discuss one of the many spheres or aspects of spirit available to us based on her orb photography. She will also share a special channeled message from her guide, Leonini, and do an oracle card reading to help guide you along your personal spiritual adventure. And now, here is your host, orb photographer, author, medium, and speaker, Nancy Myers.
Hi, excuse me. Welcome to the show. Thank you for spending some of your valuable time with me. I really do appreciate it. First and foremost, I have to let the audience know that I have been fighting that cold flu bug for a little while, 3-4 weeks, and my voice is a little weak. I apologize for that, and I apologize for the cough drop in my cheek, but it's so I don't cough. So thank you for your patience and forgiveness on that. So, one of the things that I wanted to talk about, or the thing that I wanted to talk about today, was what I heard about when I first started on my spiritual journey. And as always, I tell you, I talk from my own experiences. But what I was hearing over and over and over and over and over again is you have to meditate. You have to meditate. And I went, no, why? What is meditation? And how do I do it? And people who maybe like me are a little, I don't want to say ADD, but a little overactive, can find meditation difficult. And so it really kind of, in the beginning, I thought, well, this isn't anything I can do. Maybe I can skip it. But no, you can't. So, Chris, if we can bring up that first slide. So as always, I put my orbs that I capture with quotes. And this particular orb I chose because it looks almost like frazzled and frenetic and nothing's organized. And the quote that I found, it said, if it weren't for my mind, my meditation would be excellent. I thought, I like that. Well, that was from a woman named Pema Chodron. And she is actually an American Tibetan Buddhist nun. And I thought, okay, if she's having trouble, then I don't feel so bad. So thank you, Chris. I appreciate that. So when you do decide to expand your spiritual horizons and explore connecting to higher consciousness, right? That's kind of what it's about. Or even to find an inner peace. There will be that one word that you hear over and over and over again. And like I said, it's meditation. The word meditation comes from the Latin term meditatum, which means to ponder. However, the word or terminology was not that word or this terminology wasn't even introduced until the 12th century. And it was introduced by a Franciscan monk named Guigo II. But he published a book on how to combine meditation and scripture. So that's kind of the religious part of it. But how old is the practice of meditation? How far back does it go? I always like to know the history, right? So again, the word meditation is an umbrella term for a variety of practices. But if we broadly define meditation as a contemplative practice, or to ponder, that focuses the mind using a variety of techniques, which we're going to talk about, then research suggests it has been a spiritual practice of human beings since our beginnings. Some researchers say that even the hunter-gatherers, would do fire gazing. What is fire gazing? It's kind of where you stare literally into the fire and go into a trance or a different state. So do they have proof of that? No. But it does go back even to Egypt, ancient Egypt. There is a book written by a Dr. Ashby, and it came out in 2005, and it's called Meditation, the Ancient Egyptian path to enlightenment. But a lot of people don't realize how important meditation was to the Egyptians. In his book, he talks about text, the ancient the text which was written in hieroglyphics, right? Which it gives instructions as to the nature of the mind and its three modes of expression. These texts also are instruction on the practice for spiritual enlightenment and unity with the divine. So that's another reason or another form of meditation. Other forms of meditation were recorded around 600, 400 BCE with China with Taoism and in India with Buddhism. There's an Indo-Aryan sages who are referred to as rishis. And these rishis have been teaching these traditions or these forms of meditation for hundreds of years before they were committed to writing. So some scholars speculate that they wrote them down in the Vedas. Perhaps you've heard that, the Veda texts in India are very, very old, and they emerged, they say, around 3000 BC. So if they were teaching these even before, hundreds of years before they were committed to text, then it's a very, very ancient practice. So the Vedic hymns, which are in the text, uh, are described as the songs of Brahma, the creator that sang the universe into being. And if you followed me, you know that frequency and harmony and sound are very important to creation and to our well-being. We're going to talk about sound a little bit more. But the sages heard these sounds, they say, during meditation. And their transmission in Sanskrit, when they say it, when they speak it, sing it, is believed to recreate the sounds of the origin of the universe. One of those sounds, they say, is Om. So, but we'll talk more again, like I said, about the sound in a minute. There's another group of writing. It's called I'm going to destroy this word, Upanishads. And these are the philosophical narratives that describe the techniques the rishis used. And they are widely cited as the earliest written records of meditation again. So throughout early history, this practice was adapted by neighboring countries. So it might have started there, but then it spread and formed a part of many of the religions throughout the world. So, for example, in some of the religions, in Judaism, there's the Kabbalah, which is a meditative field of study. The use of meditation in modern Judaism is called the Hitbadidudat, and it's one of the best known meditative practices. Islam has two forms of meditation. The more mainstream, that is called or mentioned in the Quran, and the Tafakkur, which is a contemplative meditation. We're going to talk more about these types in a minute. And this meditation, this contemplative meditation, is a reflection upon the universe. So, and then there's another one called Sufism, which is more of a mystical form. So, Buddhism has numerous variations, and most Buddhist traditions involve finding the path to enlightenment. And meditation is an essential way to do this. So, Buddhism was more about being enlightened, using meditation to go higher. Christianity. Now, I want to talk about this for a minute because there's some in Christianity, even today, who say that meditation is evil, or we shouldn't be doing it, or, it's not sanctioned, or whatever. First, let me tell you that meditation in its purest form is not a religion, it's a practice. So, in Christianity, there are many Christian practices that are considered forms of meditation. Besides the Christian monastic life. Other connections within the Christian religions include counting rosary beads, the adoration, which focuses on the Eucharist. Scholars point out references to meditation in the Bible, such as the statement in the Old Testament that reads, "Be still and know that I am God." Be still. That's the key, I think, to most meditation practices, and we'll talk more about that. So, many interpret that, "Be still and know that I am God," that this is as a directive for people to quiet their minds through meditation. Joshua 1:8 of the Old Testament, there's a reference to meditating. And the World Community for Christian Meditation was founded in 1991 to continue the work of the Benedictine monks, or the Benedictine monk John Main, who introduced meditation in the form of repetitive prayer as part of his teachings of the Christian faith. So again, there's many forms of meditation, many ways to meditate. So Chris, if we can get that next slide up. But again, it goes back to quiet the mind, take the time. And I love this orb because again, this one's a little disorganized. But I found this quote and I went, "Oh my gosh, that's me when I first started." It's like, "How long am I going to have to do this?" So, come on, inner peace. I don't have all day. It's really quite comical when you think about that statement. But that's how you begin. How do you start? Well, you start with just sitting there and giving it time and be patient. Thank you, Chris. I just love that orb. I think it's so cool. So, how long do you meditate for? Hmm, Well, the ideal length of time to meditate per session varies among individuals and practices. So, generally, however, experts recommend meditating for between 5 and 45 minutes a day. Eh, Sometimes I meditate for 5 minutes, sometimes it's two, sometimes it's just a second. But the key here for those who are going to start a meditative practice is to take the time, whatever time it is, and then you can build on that. I found, and again, I am one that has a really hard time sitting still. Um, I can't even sit still through a movie; it's terrible. But when I first started, I just took small bites, small times. And and every once in a while, you'll sit there and you go, "God, I feel so good. This is so nice." And before I know it, 15 minutes went by, 20 minutes went by. So don't get discouraged, okay? If you're just starting on this, and know really that there is no right or wrong way. So let's talk about some of the types of meditation because again, the word meditation is an umbrella that covers many things. So, I'm not going to talk about all of them, but here's some that you might want to be aware of. So, the first one is called a mindfulness meditation. And mindfulness meditation is the one of the most common meditations in modern civilization. In mindfulness meditation, you give your attention to any thoughts coming to your mind without judging. You only need to record the feelings, record, acknowledge them, and then um, honor those thoughts. And I had a teacher once when I first started to take mediumship classes, and part of being a medium is sitting there and connecting. They call it sitting in the power and connecting with spirit or your guides. And in the beginning, she said, "Okay, just if you're thinking about everything and you just can't stop, imagine that there's a raft and you're in front of a river and this thought comes into your head, then put it on the raft and let it go. Is there going to be another thought? Yeah, but keep doing that practice." And again, I had a hard time. It took me a while to get where I am now, but go in steps. And we're going to talk about the different ways to meditate too, and you'll find yours. So, the second one that I want to talk about is a concentrate meditation or concentration. This type of meditation is suitable for people who are easily distracted in their daily life, and we need more focus. During the meditation, you should focus on one object, such as your breath or music. So just pick one thing to think about, and that's all. If you start doing, okay, well, now I need to think about this, now I need to think about that, don't do that. Give yourself a break. Just do one small step each time, okay? And we're going to talk about more of the use of music in a minute. Another one that I want to talk about, it's called compassion meditation. And compassion meditation builds feelings of compassion, kindness, warmth, and self acceptance that make you feel better about yourself and even loved. When I first started meditation, my teachers would say, well, drop down into your heart, drop down into your heart. How the heck do I do that? What do I drop? How do I get down there? Excuse me, but it's, I warned you. Sorry. It's when you start to get rid of the negative thoughts and you concentrate on the positive, forgiving, loving, kindness thoughts. This is also called loving kindness meditation. So if you stop concentrating on the negative, then you start appreciating and recognizing more of the positive. Hold on one sec. Okay, Spirit, I need help with this. Okay. Sorry. This is my favorite. And this one's called movement meditation. Excuse me. Now, movement meditation is exactly what it says. You don't have to sit still. I'm so sorry. So for me, yes, I can now sit still for a few minutes, but I like to walk. And I walk without my phone. I walk without a headphone. And I walk where it's quiet. And I just walk and I move and I get into the rhythm of my feet. And I really don't look at anything. I really don't think about anything. I just kind of say, okay, what do you want to fill my head with, Spirit? And I allow it to come in. See, that's the thing. If you don't take time or allow it, give it space to enter your mind, it can't. So moving meditation is one of a really good meditation to start with if you're having trouble sitting still. So it's an active form of meditation involving movements, gardening, walking, or if you're seeking peace while letting your mind wander, then you should try this meditation. But you want to be in a peaceful, quiet area. I mean, you don't want to go walk in the middle of the city. You want to go up into nature or something like that. But that's one of my favorite. And I get the most amazing messages when I'm doing my walking meditations. And then to put an exclamation on that, a lot of times I'll get an amazing message or a quote. And then 2 seconds later, and I think I've shared with you on another podcast that one of the ways my guides communicate with me is through feathers. And so here I'm outside and I get this amazing message and I look down and there's a feather, okay, yes, that was us. And here's the feather to prove it. So I just love that. I can't sing the praises of moving meditation high enough. Okay. So then there's another one called progressive meditation. And this meditation helps you decrease body stress and promote relaxation. One of the big things when we start to meditate is what? We can't relax. We can't let go of the stress around us. So, this progressive meditation is a meditation where you tighten your muscles and relax your muscles, and tighten your muscles and relax your muscles. And, even if you do that to your face, you start with that, you're gonna realize how much tension you hold in your face and your neck and your shoulders. So, it's a wonderful meditation if you just need to get rid of the day, just do that. And it's really good before you go to sleep. So, it's also called progressive meditation or a full body scan because some people, they don't stop at their shoulders, they'll go all the way down their body. That can take a lot of time. But if you just start like with, shoulders up, it's wonderful. Then there's one we talked about, contemplation meditation. And contemplation meditation has the purpose to find answers or insights for specific questions. And you want these questions answered from either your inner wisdom or the divine. So, what is this? You sit there and you say, okay, spirit, here is my question, or I need guidance with. So, you direct the purpose, right? You focus on a single thing. And a lot of, here's when I do this podcast, I always sit in meditation and I ask my son, Robbie, who kind of leads all this. And I say, okay, Robbie, I'm out of ideas. What should I do? So I sit there and lo and behold, all these things will come flooding in that I had never thought about before. And that's when it came to me and not from me. But again, it works. So we talked about the contemplative. So then there's a spiritual meditation. And as the name suggests, this meditation is practiced for a spiritual purpose. One of them is to build a deeper connection with God or the universe. This is a kind of meditation, a spiritual meditation, where you want to reach up, you want to go there, right? So that's a spiritual meditation. There's a mantra meditation, and mantra meditation is just what it says. It uses words or mantras that you say over and over and over, and these are supposed to aid in your concentration. And again, one of those is Om. We've all seen images of the monks in the orange in the temples going Om, Om, Om for hours. But some people find it easier to focus using the sound. Okay. Then there's one called transcendental meditation. And I have to tell you, so this is intended for people who prefer structural meditation, and it's the silent version of the mantra meditation. So there's a funny story. I had a gentleman come over to the house, and I had some friends, and he was a transcendental meditation instructor, and he wasn't cheap. Buyer beware, guys. And so he sat there, and basically what he told us for all this money that we spent was, well, sit there, close your eyes, and imagine you're sinking down into the ocean. And pretty soon you're sitting on the bottom of the ocean and looking up. It was like, what? That's transcendental meditation. So then after, and there were some other things, but then afterwards we all, I think there was 6 of us, and we all met with him individually, and he says, I'm going to meet with each one of you, and I'm going to give you your sacred name now, but you can't tell anybody, what it is. Okay. So we went through that. And then, of course, as he left, we all said, what did he give you? What did he give you? And he gave us all the same name. It was hilarious. But anyway, transcendental, I'm really shortening that and cheapening that. And I don't mean to, but transcendental meditation has been around for a very long time, and it works for some people. It just wasn't my cup of tea. And then there's guided meditations, and guided meditations are when you listen to someone or a recording, and it's kind of like a visualization, and it will take you places or walk you through things. Um, uh, I think most of them are visualizations. Um, I I've tried a few of those. I don't care for them because then I'm concentrating on, okay, what's next? And what do I have to picture next? Some people love it because it guides them. They don't have to make the decisions. Whatever suits you, whatever feels right for you is the right one to do. So, and then there's the sound meditation. Now, what is sound meditation? Well, sound has an ancient kinship with meditation and healing. Sound healing has ancient roots in cultures all over the world, including Australian Aboriginal tribes who use the didgeridoo as a sound healing instrument. And they've used that, they say, for over 40,000 years. So if they're using that instrument, the Aboriginals, to help people get in a certain state, then this would be one of the oldest practices, right? So, sound meditation is a form of focused awareness. One kind that has become more popular is called sound baths. I don't know how many of you have ever gone to a sound bath. They're amazing. You lay there, and they play, crystal bowls or Tibetan bowls, quartz bowls, and the vibration, the frequency, affects your body, but you're laying there kind of in a meditative state. So it's another form of meditation. So it's kind of a sound meditation and a healing meditation. I don't know how many of you have heard of the Integratron. It's in Joshua Tree, I think, California here, Southern California. And the Integratron was built by this man. I can't remember, his name escapes me. But it's kind of a octagonal shape. And the sound, you kind of walk up a ladder. I've been there. And the acoustics in there are incredible. And there were 3 of us. And then they did the sound bath in there. And it was one of the most powerful sound baths I had attended. But he gets done, and it's like, I can't find my feet. You're just a noodle. But I mean, you're so relaxed. It's quite an experience. So if you haven't done a sound bath, I highly recommend it. So there was a study in the journal, what was this called? Journal of Evidence, that found an hour-long sound meditation helped people reduce tension, anger, fatigue, anxiety, and depression, while increasing a sense of spiritual well-being. The sound meditation used a range of Tibetan singing bowls, crystal singing bowls, gongs, tiny cymbals, bells, didgeridoos, and other small bells. The main instrument used was the singing bowls for 95% of this session. And people who had never done sound meditation experienced significantly less tension and anxiety afterwards. I did. So sound-based vibration treatment has been shown to help people with pain, like from arthritis, post-operative pain, like for knee replacement. And sound-based treatment has even been found to improve mobility, reduce muscle pain and stiffness, increase blood circulation, and lower blood pressure. Now, according to this journal, they have done studies on this. Another theory of the benefits of sound rests on the concept of binaural beats. We're going to take a break right here. And when I come back, I'm going to talk about a little bit more about binaural beats and then the brain. What does the brain do during meditation? So we'll be right back.
Om Times TV. The story told in Entering the Light Fantastic, Discovering Life After Life Through Orbs, is about Nancy Meyer's spiritual and emotional rising from the devastating ashes of loss caused by the sudden and unexpected passing of her son Robbie. Just like the legend of the reborn phoenix, Nancy's life purpose and focus was transformed. With the help from her son in spirit, Nancy found herself providing proof through orbs that our souls do not die with our bodies. In her second book, Encircled by the Light Fantastic, A Deeper Journey into the Light with Orbs, Nancy continues chronicling her path of gaining spiritual knowledge and expanding acceptance of what is possible, while traveling to many sacred and ancient sites around the world. She shares these experiences with you along with her photographs of remarkable spirit encounters. Imagine becoming a super influencer. Reinvent yourself, invest in your brand, and then manifest your success with a robust spheric approach. Om Times Media and Broadcasting offers a unique and multifaceted way to become the spiritual and conscious influencer you deserve to be by putting your message across our powerful platform with its proven record of integrity and excellence. Through our produced shows, Om Times offers the opportunity to become a social media TV personality, a radio show host, an Om Times magazine columnist, and a syndicated podcaster, all in one shot. By live streaming your show on Om Times TV and broadcasting it across the extensive Om Times radio and TV networks, you become more than a host. You become an ambassador and a force for positive change. Om Times. Open yourself to the possibilities.
¿Qué color? Perfecto, mijo. Gracias. Thank you. What's wrong, mijo?
Donating to a pet's medical care is one of the many ways you can help families in your community. Pets and people belong together. Learn more at petsandpeopletogether.org.
And we're back. So I want to talk about using a technique called binaural beats. And you listen to this through headphones. And it's also another name for it. It's called brain entrainment. And the hypothesis is that listening to certain frequencies through your headphones can synchronize and change the very brain waves of your mind. So the electrical activity in the brain is displayed in the form of brain waves or rhythmic repetitive frequencies. These rhythms can be measured using a device called the EEG. So the premise is that using binaural beats, the tones played in each ear are different. And depending on the frequency, then the brain synchronizes it. And when this is synchronized, it can lead to deep relaxation, and it's associated with beta waves or meditative trance-like theta waves. So I want to talk about brain waves just a minute, because why do we feel different when we meditate? What's going on? Well, it's because we're changing the brain waves in our mind. So the first one, there's 5. It's called the gamma waves, and it's between 32 and 100 hertz. Gamma waves rapidly move around your brain, and these are, you activate this area of your brain like when you have a thought or experience an emotion, you generate gamma waves. The harder your brain works solving a problem or learning something new, the higher you put out these gamma waves. Again, it's between 32 and 100 hertz. However, it's not necessarily when you're in gamma. A few examples when you're in gamma are ecstasy or emotional or sometimes visionary experiences, but it's not a really good indicator of how advanced you are. The more you experience a particular state of being, the less your brain has to work. And if you experience high gamma amplitude in meditation, it is because your brain is working hard to help you to understand. So gamma is good, but it's not the best for meditation. So the second one is beta waves. And beta waves go between 14 and 35 hertz. Your brain generates beta waves when it is actively engaged in mental activities. Beta brain waves have a relatively low amplitude and are one of the fastest of the 5 types of the brain waves. Again, it's one step down from the gamma. Beta is your normal thinking state. If we're thinking, just thinking, then we're in beta. It reflects the active thought process. So our world is beta dominant. You need beta to function in the world. So it's not that you don't want to be in beta, it's just where you're at, okay? The next one is called the alpha. And alpha waves occur when the brain is in a state of non arousal, or such as when a person has finished a task and is resting, or when one meditates. If you're thinking type and perpetually mental in your focus, you can bring balance and relaxation to your experiencing by emphasizing alpha brainwaves. They are produced in the brain in bursts, but meditators, especially if they are advanced, produce long trains of alpha waves. When your brain produces alpha frequencies, you experience a pleasant, comfortable, relaxed, yet wakeful state of awareness. And some say it's euphoric. So it's harder for people starting out to get to alpha, but when you do, it'll come in short spurts, and then the longer you do it, the higher or the longer you can stay at that slower wave. So they say that alpha serves as a bridge between the beta and the theta, and the theta is the next one that we're going to talk about. Thetas are associated with daydreaming, REM sleep, dreaming, and theta brainwaves occur when you are in a state like driving on the freeway or are running for a long time. This kind of state often is associated with times when ideas and creativity flows. I'm not sure about that one driving on the freeway, but our brains produce theta waves at the frequency. Then we're dropping down again, only between 4 and 8 hertz. Beta is considered the conscious mind. Theta is the subconscious mind. Slower than alpha and present in dreaming sleep, theta provides the experience of deep meditation. That's kind of where you want to be, is in theta, when you're meditating. So like alpha, theta is characterized by a blissful state of well-being. However, in theta, you may have an increasing experience of being at one with everyone and everything. In other words, you tap into the one consciousness. During this time of being in theta, meditators may also experience a variety of inner images and visions. Theta brainwaves engage the subconscious, where we hold memories, sensations, and emotions. So the last one is called delta brainwaves, and these are the slowest, and these are associated with the deep, dreamless sleep. So you don't want to go to delta, because then you're just sound asleep, and a dreamless sleep. So theta's probably the most ideal. But I want to talk about, we talked a little bit about the binaural beats, and you wear them with headphones and you'll hear 2 different sounds. But there's also one that I use, and one of my favorite, and it's called Hemisync, HEMISYNC. And again, you wear headphones, and the one that I listen to is about 15-20 minutes long. And it's just a sound, kind of binaural beats, but it's a little different. That's why they call it Hemisync. And it allows us to attain a meditation and a level that some monks and some people in the past would have to work years for before they were able to do this. Well, we have the advantage of technology, so why not take advantage of it? When you all know that I sit and usually get a message from my guide, but before I do, I will listen to my 15 or 20-minute Hemisync tape, and it puts me in a receptive place, and then I can hear the messages clearly. But, sometimes I just do Hemisync just to relax. Try it out if what I'm telling you piques your interest. But again, we live in this time where we have these technologies and these things. I'm not saying that it's a shortcut, but we have these technologies to assist us. And, me at my age, I don't have 10, 20 years to practice to get this. So I'm going to take advantage of the technology that's there for me and experience those states. I think it's really wonderful. So again, it's the hemisync is two different frequencies, and it creates your mind then creates a third frequency from the two, where it can sync both the left side and the right side of your brain. Now, you might have heard where a lot of people say, "Oh, you're too right brain or you're too left brain." Left brain is logic, right? And right brain's creativity. But where we want to be is in the middle. And I know I'm very right brained. I don't like the math, the logic, the schematics. I'd rather paint and garden and do the creative stuff. So I know I have to sync or get in touch with the left side of my brain a little bit more. But we're always in the best place when we're balanced, and that goes for our brain. So that's why I love it. I just love the hemisync. Um, so um, it says here that exposure to hemisync signals can lead to cortical synchronicities, which is the right and the left side, within a matter of minutes, offering a more efficient method compared to traditional meditation practices. So that's why I do it. So, okay. So I've talked about some of the kinds of meditation, and let's talk about, well, what else does meditation do for you? And there are so many benefits. We can talk about how it reduces stress, and it's one of the most common reasons why people try meditation, because stress can cause an increased level of the hormone cortisol. And when you go into a nice meditation, you calm that production down. So mindfulness meditation reduces this response. Um, there's, of course, less stress equals less anxiety. It promotes emotional health. Obviously, if you're not all keyed up, all tight, like we talked about, doing those muscle tensions and letting go, you go, wow, I didn't realize I was carrying all that in my shoulders. And then there's uh, sometimes when you put out too much of this cortisol or these other things that's called cytokines. I think I'm saying that right. Cytokines. I think it's cytokines. That can, if you stay in there too long, it can lead to depression. So, what a wonderful natural way to get your body and your mind right. 5 or 10 minutes of meditation a day is so much better than taking a pill, a man-made pill, I think. Of course, check with your doctor, but try it out, and see how you respond. I'm all for natural. And, it works best with me, mainly because I'm allergic to most man-made medicines. I don't have a choice. But if we have this wonderful alternative, let's explore it. So they also say that it lengthens attention span, which is wonderful. Again, for me, my attention span is really, really short. It can improve sleep and memory loss and can even help fight addictions. There's really no downsides to start a meditation practice. And the word meditation and people talking about meditation now is so much in the mainstream. And why? It's because everything else we've tried, we've gotten away from that spiritual side of us, replaced it with artificial things that were supposed to help us. Well, now we're finding that those artificial things aren't good for us. So I think everybody's starting to look for an alternative, and everybody's rediscovering and re-exploring and retrying, meditation. Literally, it is the foundation of well-being and spiritual growth. This is the ground floor. So, even students in some of the schools, they have started teaching meditation to the students during gym class or whatever, and they're finding that their attention span grows. Troubled students aren't as troublesome. Their moods are elevated. Now, one of the things that just gets to me is there are a small group of people who are against it. Why? Because they say, no, it leads to Buddhism, or whatever. No, it doesn't. It's not a religion, it's a practice. And if it helps your child or your student do better in school, feel better about themselves, why wouldn't you do it? I don't understand that. But okay, so let's talk really briefly the positions of meditation. Well, I've already told you that walking is one of my favorite. Now, some people will sit. I have a dedicated place in my house where I do my meditations. I keep it clean, energetically, and it's where the only thing that I do is my meditation. And all it has to be is a corner of a room or whatever. I sit. I don't cross my legs, but I sit. Make sure that there's no binding clothes. And some people like to lay down. Now, I do not because I have a tendency to fall asleep. And then what? I'm in those delta gamma waves, right? I'm not doing any good. So I like to sit up and do that. So why do meditation? Well, because it helps me to reach, I've just told you that I listen to my hemisync before I get my messages from my higher self, Leonini. There's a quote. It says, "Quiet the mind, and the soul will speak." Well, and that's by Maja, and she was a woman guru in 1976 in Florida. She started an ashram, but that's the whole thing. You cannot hear if you don't take the time to be quiet. So you can't hear if you don't stop talking. So, one of the things when I first started, and I didn't meditate it, like I said, it took me a while and I was horrible at it. But I had a reading from a medium and Robbie was there talking to me. And you all know that, of course, I'm an orb photographer. And in the beginning, I'd get the picture and oh, look at that orb. Oh, look at the next picture. Oh, look at the next picture. These are amazing. Well, Robbie came in the reading. He said, Mom, take more time. Sit with it and hear what the orb is telling you. And I went, oh. And then I started doing that. And that's when I started getting the messages from the orbs. But I wasn't giving it time. So meditation is something everyone can do to improve your mental and emotional health. You can pretty much do it anywhere without special equipment or memberships. But if you need it, there's courses, there's support groups, there's a variety of styles. Find the one that's right for you. But when I channel Leonini, probably 70 or 80% of her messages refer to meditation. And I picked 3 past ones that I've had from her because my head's been kind of icky with this flu and I was having a hard time concentrate. But I have 3 here that I'm going to read and share with you that she talked about. Some of them are a couple years old and some a little more recently. But, one of my heroes is Nikola Tesla. I've said that over and over again. And he was an advocate of meditation. He believed that practicing meditation regularly cleansed the mind, improved clarity of thought, and allowed people to connect with the universal energies. He said and believed that meditation helped awaken and broaden his creativity. In other words, that's when his inventions came to him. And I've heard that by Albert Einstein too. He said he would sit there and then this information would come in. So if we can bring up that last slide, Chris, one of, and this was on a holy Indian grounds in California. And I called in the spirits to stand with me, and they did. And so Eckhart Tolle said, one conscious breath in and out is a meditation. So even if you just take that time to breathe, and be aware, okay, I'm going to breathe in and out. That's a meditation. So find the meditation that's right for you. I highly, highly, highly recommend it. So I want to read this one. This is a message from Leonini. And this was channeled to me or through me on August 5th, 2019. And the first thing that she showed me was a bear coming out of its den as it was emerging. So here's how she put this. At the appropriate time, the bear retreats into the quiet and protection of its den to wait out the harsh winter swirling around it outside. This hibernation ritual is an important survivor tool for the bear. During the hibernation, sometimes the bear gives birth to new cubs, and after waking, the hungry bear brings forth her new cubs and introduces them to the world. There is a type of hibernation that is an important survival ritual for you also. It is a meditation hibernation. At the appropriate time, you too need to go within to find the quiet, to rest, and to silence the outside noise. Meditation hibernation can bring forth and birth new ideas and gives you a safe place to allow the turbulent storms around you to pass. You will come out refreshed and reconnected to your inner being, feeling more peaceful and hungry for the new opportunities that lie ahead. Try to take advantage of the meditation hibernation time often. I had never heard meditation hibernation, but that's what Leonini called it. So I'm going to read one more here. And we talked a little bit about the breath, but this is how Leonini addressed it. And she first showed me an accordion. And then this was the message that she gave me. The accordion comes to life in the hands of the trained musician who adeptly moves the instrument in and out to control just the right amount of airflow. Without this rhythmic movement, the music can suffer. Your breathing is automatically, and for the most part, not given much of your attention. However, you are much like the accordion, and it is important for you to learn to control the flow and rhythm of your own breath. Learning to breathe deeply and rhythmically assists you in connecting to your inner peace and harmony. Some say that breath work is very, very important to meditation. So we want to do that. Okay, I have a couple minutes left here. So the card reading, it's called, these are my brand new cards. It's called Soul Helper Oracle cards. And I love these cards. So I'm going to draw a card with the intention that this is for everybody's journey here. And give me a second to shuffle. And I always ask that these messages are hopeful, helpful, and healing, and resonate with you. This deck is new and it's a little slippery, so okay. But I just love the artwork on this deck. Isn't that beautiful? Okay, so let me shuffle one more time. Since we were talking about contacting our soul, I thought this was appropriate. Okay, so here's the card. And it says, the time is right. Seize the day and make progress on your soul path. So it's time to start. No time like the present to start your meditation, right? So, well, that's it for today. Again, I apologize for my coughing fits here, but it was so good to be with you again. And thank you. I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.